What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Wizards Outlook. We got Raymond Lyons joining us from Capital One. We got Cardo Dudley Jr. here. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. And look, man, the Wizards back-to-back wins. They beat the Hawks for twice in 3 days. But Ray, you're in the building. Walk us through it, man. They beat the Hawks tonight, 133-120. We see Trae Young I think we all expected Trae Young to respond after the horrific evening he had in his last outing against Washington. That's it. Washington got the belt, though.
Yeah, man, it's a solid win, a very solid win. Like you pointed out, and even Coach Keith said in the pregame that they were expecting Trae Young to have a night like this. Given how he performed the last game, came out real aggressive, had 24 in the first half. Um, and like this game to me shows the growth that this team has made over the since last season. Last season, they lose this game by 20 plus, and Trae Young looking at 50. But tonight they stuck with it. Bilal had the post game on court interview. He said, we knew he was going to come out and have a good game, given how he played last time. We know he's going to make shots. We just got to stay with it and keep up our defensive pressure and intensity. And they did, man, and it worked out for them. Trey had a Trey game, 35 points, 15 assists. But overall, man, the Wizards got contributions from damn near everybody. Can't talk enough about the defense. We know the usual suspects, Bilal, Keyshawn George, Bub's going to compete, but I got to highlight Jordan Poole's defensive improvement, man. He's getting after it. He dug down a couple times and forced some turnovers. When he wasn't able to get the steal, he recovered and was able to close out on his man. Just the overall buy-in. All the stuff they talked about from media day to training camp to beginning of the season, it looks like they plan on executing on that. Because they were everywhere. We saw and we also saw the Wizards kind of push pace. They stole a couple easy baskets, pushing it even on makes. They were able to get a couple layups. Then the execution in the half court, they're cutting with conviction. Guys are making those passes, and then they're even getting good in rhythm threes. So this was just a complete game, man. Really not too much you can criticize, and that's without Kuz. So once he comes back, and if he's able to continue his play that he had the other night, man, who knows, man? If they can be consistent with this level of effort, they should be able to compete with any team. Of course, the top heavy teams in the league, we're gonna be realistic with our expectations. This is a young team still trying to figure it out. But as we saw in the first two games against Boston and Cleveland, the consistent effort was there, and they pretty much made those guys have to play to the end. Last year we saw a lot of those games in very early. Another refreshing thing, this game looked like it could have got out of hand in the second quarter, but they kind of were able to reel it back in, going to the lead, going to the halftime with a single digit deficit, and then they came out in the third quarter and took over the game for the second game in a row. We're used to seeing them on the receiving end of that. So it great win, man, great win. I got no complaints tonight.
All right, we see you got a comment. We're going to get to you in just a little bit. Appreciate you tuning in, obviously, to all that already did. Cardell, I was telling Ray, I was driving back from College Park, so y'all going back and forth in group chat. Clearly, I missed a hell of a game, or at least 3/4 of a hell of a game. That said, the last, I think, before the first time they played the Hawks a couple of days ago, you were saying we get an idea of, like, a better idea of this team heading into this matchup. Now that they've played the Hawks twice, your thoughts on them?
It shows that they're capable of being what we said during the preseason after training camp, that they should be fighting for a play-in spot. They should be fighting for a postseason, if they're healthy. They're talented, they're just young. And you know, and it was all predicated on the vets, mainly Kuz and Poole. You know, which type of vets were they going to be? We see what time Poole on. Poole's playing at all-star level right now, so you literally have no complaints about him. Kuz played better once it clicked last game. Obviously, unfortunately, he's hurt. You need that same momentum from the second half of the third game against the Hawks in Atlanta to continue when he comes back. But yeah, it just shows what their potential is. One thing that's been common and consistent for them from the very beginning is they don't quit. They keep competing. Even when Boston and Cleveland were they built the lead up to 20 or whatever like that, they still were competing, and that's been consistent throughout. So even with Trae Young going off in this game and stuff, they down. They consistently competed, and they made adjustments. The thing is, and the reason why they won tonight is they just cut the paint off. Atlanta had their way scoring in the paint, mainly because Trae Young was getting in there, and if he wasn't scoring, he was throwing lobs. In the first half, points in the paint, Atlanta outscored Washington 46-26. All right. Also, they only had 6 turnovers, Atlanta did, and Washington had 11, which compounded it. And Atlanta scored 15 points off of Washington's turnovers. So that's why they had the lead, that they had at halftime. They had a 65-57 lead, but the game was close. It wasn't out of hand. You see what I'm saying? Second half, completely different ballgame. And one adjustment I love, whoever was on weak side, when Trae Young got in the paint, they crowded him and forced him to throw that lob. Whoever was weak side came from behind and was blocking it. Bilal, whoever was back to Keyshawn, they were coming from the weak side for the three-point line and blocking that pass. They was on that. And they made a couple times they got called for foul, other times they got the deflection. And it made Trae Young have to think, hesitate if he wanted to throw that or not. And that's when it clicked. That's when the Wizards defense really clamped down on those guys. And they got ugly. So the second half, Washington outscored Atlanta in the paint 30-20. And Washington only turned the ball over 3 times in the entire second half. 3 times. Meanwhile, Atlanta turned it over 9 times. On top of that, Washington shot 60% in the second half and 47% from deep and didn't miss a free throw. You clamp it down. They can't score. They shot 45% from the field in the second half. They can't score at the same rate that they were scoring on. They're turning the ball over, and they can't stop you at all. That's how you turn the game around and win. And it felt good to see that, man, that they actually won the game. The game turned around on their defense. They were scoring well. They had 57 points at halftime. But they needed a defense to kind of get over the hump. And think about it. They outscored Atlanta, 76-56 in the second half. That's ball game. That's how you win. 133 points, man. So they really exposed Atlanta's defensive woes and the type of pace that they're playing at. And I just like the way the effort, man, especially from the young fellas, all they need is reps. That's all they need. Once they figure it out, really figure it out, you can see Bub starting to figure it out, really starting to figure out. Sarr still on offense is still the same, but defensively he's figuring it out. He's a rim protector, and I love that. He's blocking all types of stuff, runners, floaters. They shooting wild hooks, and he's still getting to it. He's a defensive anchor, and that's tough because you already got to deal with Valanciunas in there, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to deal with that space eater. He's 7'2" as is. He's not jumping like that no more. He never really could jump to begin with, but he damn sure not jumping like that no more. So the young bull gonna get it. You see what I'm saying? All he gonna do is just take the contact. So it's beautiful to see Keyshawn George play better tonight. You know what I mean? He was big. 11 points, 4 assists. And the thing I like about the young bulls is they give you impact in various phases of the game. It's not just one area. You feeling them in multiple phases. And it starts with their defense. That's what's encouraging. They're letting their defense dictate their offense. And that allows the vets to do what they do. Bub, 16, 6-6, by far his best game as a pro. Only took 8 shots. And that's what makes Bub, that's why he was a lottery pick. He don't need a lot of shots to put points on the board. He understands his shots. He understands time, pace. He understands how to play. He understands how to make plays. You know what I mean? But then on that, you getting rebounds. You getting stops. Keyshawn, 11 points, 5 of 10 from the field. like I said, Alex still figuring it out things on offense, man. When he understands to get closer to the basket, his percentages will go up. I'm not mad at him taking threes, but you can't live out there. You know what I mean? There's only a handful of bigs that can live out there on the perimeter, like a Dirk or somebody like that. You know what I mean? That you have that, all right, do your thing. But it'll come along for him. But I like what he's bringing defensively. And obviously, Valanciunas off the bench, 22, 8 and 6. I mean, come on now. If you got that production from your center off the bench, I mean, look, man. And this is, I can't wait to see when Malcolm Brogdon come back. And you got another pro, super pro, pro out there controlling things that can defend, that can shoot, that can do everything on the floor. Look, man, the Wizards got talent, man. And credit to this regime. I'm not saying they're gonna win the championship. We're not gonna jump through hoops, but you gotta give credit where it's due, man. Look, we were very critical of them last season, rightfully so. Gotta have that same energy when you clearly see it's a difference in this team.
Yeah, like you said, it's only right? You do wrong, you address it. You do right. Right now, they look like they're getting this draft thing right. This year's draft, think about tonight. What all them, what two of the three kids, two of your 3 first-round picks play 30 minutes in this game.
Mm-hmm.
You missing one of your lead guys, you get this. Then the very first selection of your regime goes and has another career night for the second time in 4 games. Right? It's not bad. Right? Not bad. Getting to that player of the game, I mean, I don't think
the aforementioned.
I give it to Mr. Poole. Well, no, Billy.
Yeah.
I
go Bilal, man.
Yeah, Bilal, dog. Yeah. Bilal Hooper, man.
I was about to say, I was going Bilal easily.
Bilal, I gotta give it to Bilal, man, with the defense, man. And was it smart? They picked up that option quick. We've seen enough. You ain't going nowhere.
And that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
That ease his mind. All he got to do is work. He ain't got to worry about his situation. Just get him in place right now. You see he's progressing. Like, why even waste time?
Bro, they got immediate return on that investment. We're not even 10 games in the year 2.
Mm-hmm.
Career high has been changed twice. X Factor.
I'm gonna go with Valanciunas, man. Boy had 18, 7, and 3 in the second half on 7-7 shooting. He was a big reason why the game changed.
18, 7, and 3 is a good night if you play 30 minutes. All right, that.
At 14 minutes in the second half.
I see that makes it worse. 14 minutes, you wreak that type of havoc.
It's under 15 minutes, 14 minutes, yup.
So you got to deal with the youngsters, which is all the energy, and here comes a wall. Yeah. All right, gotta love it. All right, I think they're going to Mexico City to take on Miami over the weekend. And when they come back, I think they got Golden State. But again, after 4 games, they're 2-2.
And just to throw this out here, Bub leads all rookies in scoring, 8.5. 8.7 a game. Sar leads all rookies. Well, he's second in blocks, tied with Donovan Clingan from Portland with 2 a game. And Bub is also third in assists, 2.7. So their rookies are, and Keyshawn George right behind him, 4th in assists, 2.3. So, I mean, they're doing their job as rookies, man. They making an immediate impact, and that's what you expect when you draft rookies, and especially in the lottery. Damn sure the first round too, but in the lottery, yeah, you better make an impact.
Again, they took 3 youngsters in the first round, and again, we seen in all 4 games. Well, even since preseason, I don't think there's a game where none of them made an impact at all. I know there's been growing pains, what have you. There's still going to be growing pains as we go forward, but the fact that we can always say like there was impact made, especially all of them on the defensive end, regardless of what they're going through, is I definitely think is impressive. We did have go ahead.
Last thing, Carlton, Bub is he's 4th amongst rookies in 3-point shooting. Coming into this game, 50%, and he's shooting 87% from the line. So again, they're getting it done.
The comment we had tonight from Big J52, Young is playing tough. Give them 3 years and a ton of weight room time to be 22 years old and dangerous.
They don't need that much time. Now it's gonna happen a lot sooner. I think honestly, I just think just give them this first half of the season, and if the Wizards are kind of in that playoff position, I think you're gonna see them really turn the corner because they're gonna have enough games under their belt. You can see it already. They just figuring stuff out as they play different teams. But once you kind of get past that first half of the season, anybody will tell you, man, you only a rookie by your, technically on paper, but you're starting to figure out the league if you put in the work and you think you're good enough. So that's when it's really going to turn the corner for all those three. And they already showing signs already. So, 3 years, man, and the rate they going, man, you need some all-star bids from at least one of them. You know what I'm saying? Something knocking on the door of it at least. That's a whole different ball game.
Not to mention, another thing that's going to accelerate it, bro, they're on the court. Like, they're legitimately on the court. There's actually time to task. Like, they're on the court.
But you know what, man? The difference is, they're on the court, but they're not making a lot of bad mistakes. Where you just like, we got to sit you, bro. Like, you bugging. Like, it's not like that.
They're already, for this generation of, as much we talk about differences in the generations, whatever, especially across sports with rookies. Honestly, across sports, that the preparation at the lower levels hasn't been what it was in the past. The thing with these three, for all the different backgrounds, even talking about going back to last year with Bilal having pro experience, like these dudes all have a sense of self to come in and play with that. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't feel like anything like wild rookie type stuff. Like no sense of.
But if you know their history, along their journey at one point in time, they were role players. They weren't the guy. Like I remember Bub in high school, he was one of the guys. Like Jonathan Lamont was the go-to guy to score, the bigger name and all that. He was more the 1B, so to speak. You know what I mean? He was never even though I felt he had more upside, he was better at that time. He wasn't that. He wasn't featured like that. No disrespect. He was one of the guys. Neither was Keyshawn, even at college and stuff. Bub came in. Think about it. Henson was the guy at Pitt. Blake Henson, the shooter, that leading scorer, he was the guy. And Bub just emerged as an all-around player and playmaker. SAR, all the leagues, the G League, NBL and all that. He was like one of the top prospects, but he was never the guy. He was a youngin, learning the pro game. So these guys understand how to play at a high level, complimenting someone else. So it's not that hard. You know what I'm saying? For them, it's just adjusting to what they're seeing on the floor. But they understand how to play team basketball because they've been in that role before. It's not like they've been a guy from day one all their lives and they got to come here. Well, now you got to figure out how to play a complimentary role because we already got Poole and Kuz as our first two options. And they struggle with that because they've never had to play that before. So for them, it's easy for them to fit seamlessly. But also when it's time and like they have their moments where they're getting it going and stuff like that, they also have experience being that too, being the guy. So they know what to do in that situation as well. So they just know how to play basketball. And that's why you don't see the same silly mistakes you normally see from a lot of rookies. And now they're 2-2. And I can't remember the last time the Wizards had a 2-game winning streak. I'm serious. It's just we got to look it up. You cannot remember.
No, that's a great point, though. The fact that they already know how to they came in having experience being complementary pieces is huge.
And that's where our generation, we knew how to do that because we grew up playing with old heads. They ain't give you the ball.
Yeah.
Defense, you
facts.
You open, then you take the shot, younger.
Hey, look, you had a checklist of things to do before you got the rock, bro.
Yeah. And if you thrive in your role, you could bump in that, then slowly go ahead, young boy, do your thing. They be like, go ahead, young boy, take it over, teach you how to lead. It's a process. And that was that. So we got it early from the crib, from the neighborhood. So then when you get to college or high school, you understand already how to do that. These youngers don't really have it overall. So it's refreshing to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the vibes coming out of media day and training camp and stuff, when they love the rookies, it makes sense. Yeah. Because they all about winning, man. And the thing is, I keep saying it, they're leading with defense. Name the last rookie players that came in. Oh yeah, we on the defense, man. We ain't playing on that now.
that's going. I don't know if you're gonna get an answer for that or the 2-game win streak. First, I don't know what's gonna be easy one to answer.
Yeah, and with Bub, like the only time he's ever looked shell shocked was that first preseason game against Toronto. Ever since then, it's been steadily progressing every game.
Yeah, because that wasn't a fair for the dog. Off night and strap you shade from strap you Houston dog. That's different. And you already like, you know what I'm saying?
It's sensory overload, and you got two dudes that's like, yeah.
And you got Scotty Barnes crazy out there lurking and Boucher and these dudes moving faster than you and they 6'. That was different. Yeah, I mean, you gonna have that like God, but he regrouped. He's like, yeah, this is different than ACC.
The very next game.
And that's the thing about all three. They're mentally tough. Like they don't get shit. Like, all right, I took my lumps. I'm gonna be back though, and that's encouraging.
Again, like y'all said, a great win for them to get to 2-2. It took a while to see them win back-to-back games last year, and that's the last I'm gonna say.
Let's leave last year.
I'm gonna look, I'm leaving that where it's at. Just saying.
Therapy.
You're right. They were 2-2 to start the year. They, punch above the weight class in the first couple games. Someone in their weight class, they're 2-0 in their weight class. Can't get mad at that. It's all you can really ask for, right? We'll see what things look like when they go out to Mexico City. Then you get whatever iteration of Golden State that comes into the building. I think Monday. They got some injuries or what have you, but if people hadn't been paying attention, that whole strength and numbers crap is back. So if it's your first time paying attention to them this year, you find out come Monday. Yeah. So,
but the thing is, last thing, I mean, they got to deal with the Heat. Obviously, that's next on their mind, but it's going to be fun to watch them against the Warriors because the Warriors kind of in the same boat. They got a bunch of young boys trying to establish themselves. So it's going to be a battle of the youngest, and whichever youngest play better, going to win that game. Unless Steph go nuclear, he play in, or Wiggins ball out or something like that. But, the way Poole playing, and Poole, where he playing,
he wants to get back. Yeah, for sure. Hey, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We will check in with you guys this weekend. Appreciate y'all as always.